30 seconds. Mic check, camera check. Ten seconds, everyone, places. 3, 2, 1, and we are live.
Hello, good morning, good morning. Just thought I'd do a little show this morning. Just been cruising YouTube all morning long and just getting bored. TJ, hello, sir, and Dusty, good morning, sir. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. We're heading up to Pell City in a little while. We got to load up the truck and with our old bedroom suite that we had and carry it to a friend of a friend that is not doing too well right now. She doesn't have much right now, but she does have a place to live. Other than that, just hanging out. So just cruising out. I've been watching a few videos this morning about them talking about the tariffs and the executive order that Trump's going to sign, or if he signed it already and everything. And one guy said that we may not even get to see the DJI Mini 5 Pro version. That, it basically would not make it to the United States. I know the Mavic 4 has been having difficulties making it here too. I'm, right now, money wise, I couldn't afford either one of them. Just trying to survive. It's going to get better. Things will get better. That's for sure. If anybody wants to join in this morning, let's see. Let's throw this out there. Let's see what bowls. All right, threw it out there, and we'll see what bowls. But anyway, I was just watching this one guy, and he was just talking about, nobody's going to be able to buy the Mini 5 in the United States, and I'm like, geez, But hopefully. B-Rad, what's up, sir? Good morning. Good morning, brother. I hope you're doing well. Dusty, did you end up buying that car? Didn't know if you did or not. So, TJ, if you got to go to work today, brother, come on in. Another pot of coffee. Come on, B-Rad. I sent you. Brad just sent you a link. Send a link out there. Anyway, hope for the best for anything. I was just watching a bunch of videos this morning. YouTube gets you sucked in sometimes, and then it gets you sucked right back out too. There's some stuff out there. Yeah. Short on cash, everybody is. We've been working on mother-in-law's house for months now, a couple of months, maybe a little bit longer than that. I mean, although we, took some money out to actually do her place, it's getting there. I learned a valuable lesson of everything, because I changed out the sink upstairs in the guest bathroom, and I call it a ball cock. The cutoff valve underneath, they haven't been cut off in years, and if you ever try to cut one of these off, you can't. If you start messing with it, it's going to start leaking. Well, I ended up replacing both of them, and before going to Helen, Georgia and everything, it was a few days before going. And I checked it afterwards. Everything was fine. No drips, no leaks, nothing like that. But then a little bit later on down the line, well, the next day I went back up there too, and I checked it again, and everything was fine. But we were in Helen, and on Sunday, my brother-in-law, he ended up calling my wife, and then she looked at me and said, and I got over there and said, "What's up, Tony?" And he says, "Well, we got a problem over there at Mom's." And I said, "What's up?" And he says, "Well, there's water coming out of the ceiling." "Where at?" And he, because they've had a lot of rain down here. And he says, "Downstairs in the master bedroom." And I went, "Okay, do you know where it's coming from?" And he goes, "No, not really." So I got him to go upstairs, and he said, "Looks like it's coming from underneath the sink." And I went, so the thing was been dripping. It started dripping on me. I mean, we've got it replaced now and everything, but the ceiling is going to need to be replaced in sections down there, which we're getting it done. He started yesterday, and he should finish up by Monday. But it's about $1,000 mistake on my part. My wife understood. She's very understanding about it. It just things happen, accidents happen, and of course we got another place in the back in the storage room that's leaking, but that's a whole different deal. That's a roof problem, which we're addressing that right now too. So everything's going well. So how's y'all's morning going? Everything going good with y'all? Hope so. Johnny should be on the road pretty soon and heading to Smith Lake, about just a little ways north of me. Hope they have safe travels and everything, make it on time. I know he didn't have a show this morning and everything, and kind of missed that too. Got to see Chris's sunrise, and got to see just a little bit of Dennis's sunrise. What? Just waking up late. Sarah, you can't come right now. Working the kitchen stuff. Got to get outdoors soon as well. I hear you. You get it. You get it while you can, Brad. That's for sure. You have to get it. Yeah, leaking 80s plumbing gets old. Yeah, it does. It really does. you start turning it, it won't turn. And if you force turn it, that's when you're just going to eat up everything that's in there, and it's going to start dripping on you. I learned my lesson years ago on that. That's one of those easy lessons. I had one at work the same way. The building that we're in, we've been in it for over 18 years, something like that. And I had to replace a line that was leaking, and I went to go cut it off, and it was real hard, and it went like that, and the next thing you know, it started dripping. I went, and you turn it back on, and it's still dripping. Drips even more sometimes. But I ended up just having to cut the water off to the branch and run to Lowe's real quick and grab a new one and go and put it on. But yeah, you learn your lesson really quick about those things. But so anyone pop in? Somebody want to pop in today? Come on, pop on in. We'll discuss things. Come on. AC guys come finish the ductwork. They're here for 11 hours. Wow. Well, at least they finished. So, yeah. And mother-in-law's, we ended up putting a brand new AC in. I don't think it took them 11 hours though, but it depends on what they're replacing. I was going to get she smoked in the house for so long. Ever since they've been there. No, her mother smoked too. Morning, Lance. How you doing? Hope everything's going your way up there, sir. But with her smoking in that house and her mom smoking too, it soaked into everything, and we ended up putting a new AC unit in. And I asked them could they do duct cleaning on it, and they said they'd be afraid to. They would end up probably tearing up the ductwork. Um, and mainly, if you're gonna get duct cleaning, in most cases, and this is what he told me to is to do, you do commercial stuff that the duct is a metal type square duct that you basically or know that you're not going to tear it up. Um, Although some of them are insulated inside of those ducts, but he said in most cases, he said they don't have insulation inside anymore. They basically just metal. That's all they are. Oh, 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 had leaks. Well, at least it was up in the attic. In mom's case, hers is inside the joist area, which you'd have to take the ceiling out to replace it. And it's a split level garden home, kind of split level. It's upstairs, downstairs garden home. Well, the way it goes up, and the downstairs are all fed from the ceiling, and the upstairs are fed from the floor. So everything is in that ceiling portion of it. So it would just it would just be it'd be horrific if we had to replace all that. Rodney, good morning, sir. How you doing? Or I'm sorry, Quadney. How are you doing, sir? Man, sunrises this morning. I watched the replay on Rodney's, and man, gorgeous sunrise. Man, gorgeous. Chris Hope, gorgeous, gorgeous. Dennis, I only got a chance to see a little bit of his, only because of the fact that I just woke up and it was on, and he said goodbye, and next thing you know, I was watching Chris's. So I'll go back and watch Dennis's in a little bit. Let's throw this out again. Anybody want to join this morning? Pasting out the stream right here. Y'all are welcome to join in for a little bit. Just got bored. Just trying to get up and everything. I pressure washed the driveway yesterday. Why don't I have a blue wrench? You're right. You do not have a blue wrench. Because normally I come on at 6 o'clock at night, and you're not in. You're not There you go. You're blue now. Da, 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 da. Yeah, mainly Ronnie. Normally I have my show at Monday nights, which I'm trying to have one tomorrow night. I just wanted to see what's I just got to see what's going on. It's been kind of really tough with everything going on and adding work to the schedule between mother-in-law's house, and we've got a lot of things going on at the office, and got it's one corporate office to keep up with, but you also have 18 other branches throughout the state of Alabama to keep up with too. And it just, you have good intentions to sit behind your desk and work on the things you need to be working on maintain wise, but you never get a chance to because of the fact that one of the 18 branches has an issue, or corporate office here lately has the issues. Excuses. Yeah, I hear you. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, corporate office has issues every 5 seconds too, between the AC units, which if our corporate office is 4 football fields long, stacked. In other words, football field, four stacked. And we have 4 huge air handlers that are in 4 separate rooms on each corner of the building. So you got the first floor rooms, and then you got the 4th floor rooms. We've had issues out of one of the air handling units. The fan supply keeps on airing out, and they're ordering parts for it, and it's been tough getting the parts in. So in the meantime, we're having to leave the chilled water totally on 100%, which sometimes sometimes it's pumping out like 48 degrees out of the main air handling unit, which most cases it's anywhere from 58 to 63. So Rodney, good to see you, sir. We'll see you down the road there, brother. Behave, be good, have a great day. But just with that air handler doing what it's doing. So what else is going on this morning? Anything else? Fixing to just quit the show. Come on, Lance. Come here, sir. Come on board. Join on in. So it's hard. It's really tough to discuss some of these things. So I guess I'll go back to watching YouTube videos. Well, here's the one this guy I've been watching right here. Let's see. This is the one I was watching just now. And he was talking about different things. Let's see. Yeah, it's showing it. Okay. Just want to make sure it was showing it. But this is the end of DJI executive order. And I was basically watching it and seeing what was going on with it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Just have to be in a wait and see pattern. And like I said, just really can't afford it right now. I'll keep, Captain Joe, good morning, sir. Hope everything's going well with you, sir. Got the link out there if you want to join on in, sir. It's in the chat. Hope everything's going well. Just talking about things. Just a little bit bored this morning. I don't know. I just, I think that things will get better. I really do. It may take a while for some of the stuff. You got to think about years and years of things that we didn't know about in the background, and having to fix all those things. Same thing goes with, go back to mother-in-law's house. Years and years of smoke, and we're still paying the price for it, because every once in a while you'll walk in that front door and you still kind of smell it. So we're still trying to battle that demon. Demon. Yeah, I smoke, but I'm out here in the garage and we got the doors closed and everything. The house does not smell like smoke. This garage really doesn't smell like smoke half the time, because we open up the garage door most cases. So it just blows on out. Where's my Where's my deal? Okay, there it is. Why isn't it showing it over here? Good morning, sir.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out and just looking at YouTube and stuff and got bored.
Oh, I know the feeling. On this executive order, I think it's going to actually be a good thing because basically what they're trying to do is make the organizations go do an investigation on DJI. And it's already been done. Several organizations have done it and said they're not a security risk. So it's like it's going to be fine once they finally get somebody to do their job.
Okay.
You know, that's
Okay.
what I think. That's just my opinion. I think everybody's using it right now. I'm hearing the good side and the bad side out there.
And that's what I was hearing this morning. I was hearing more bad than good. And it's, I guess it's clickbait on most of these videos and
Oh, that's basically what it is.
yeah. But then they don't talk about the good side of it. They're talking about, well, this one guy was talking about how his wife has a clothing store and she can't order anything else because of the tariffs. And that's how he started it off. And I'm like, okay, I thought you were going to talk about DJI.
Right.
So yeah, it's yeah. I hope it's a good thing. I mean, I can't afford it right now. I can't afford anything new.
I got rid of my background. It was giving if I had seizures, that would have been different. It was flickering.
You gonna throw the garage in with this is my green screen right here. So
yeah, this is mine. This is background. This is what I don't show everybody.
Got your printer back there and everything.
Yeah, I did a light box the other day for the first time. Got it.
Oh hell yeah!
I think it came out all right.
Yeah.
Put a little battery pack on the back.
What I mean, have you left it on to see how long it's going to take before it drains?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. It's one of those little C22 batteries or something like this. I got about a gazillion of them.
Oh, you talking about the flat ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works one of those flat batteries, so it'll probably give you a couple hours if you left it on.
Yeah.
But I made it to where I could change it out, and I've got some USB ones coming in. I just stuck something in there to see what it looked like. I had some what they call fairy lights. I bought those for lithopanes, but they weren't bright enough.
Get you some multicolors in there so where you can just change the colors of.
Well, that's what I got coming. I've actually got a light bar coming. That's like 8-inch by 2-inch light bar. And it works off USB. And I'm thinking about if I can get that to fit in, I might be able to diagonally in that with that, because that's 6x6. Might not be able to, not with that one. But then I'll see if I can make something like a nameplate or something and have it 8 inches, have it sit right behind it.
Oh yeah, it's a little back,
a lot better.
Yeah, a little backdrop stuff.
Yeah. I actually want to make one of those for my son for the Marine Corps for his desk. So he can put it on his desk and it'll light up for him. That'd be cool.
That would be. That's for sure.
He's got stuff on his desk that they always ask him what it is. I made him the doodle bob to hold the pen. And he put it on his desk. And everybody says, "Where'd you get that from?" My dad.
Yeah, he made it. Made it.
You ought to hear.
Yeah. Made in USA.
I'll be making something here and I'll turn around if I've got nothing else to do. I'll just watch it. And watch it. And I might sit here for a half hour watching it layer stuff. I'm amazed that the way some of the things the way they print it,
and how intricate it can be too.
Right. Flip around, come back, and catch that little part he forgot, or it couldn't do it till this part was done.
Did you change your tip?
I've never changed the tip yet. I've still got a 4. I need to
Okay.
get a 2. I want to try it 2 for some things.
Yeah, because you were having trouble at one time. How's the arm and everything going?
I'm gonna have that for life.
Looks a lot better.
It's better. The new drone. It sent me a new Mavic 3.
There you go.
Got 6
Nice.
flights on it.
Nice.
And I was flying over Manchac Pass, which is about 80 feet of water yesterday. And I had just done a hyperlapse, and I was chasing before I did the hyperlapse, I was chasing a train, and I'm coming back, and I look up, and there's going straight at me. It's a seagull, and he at the last minute dove under me. I went, God darn it! But it's part of the game, you know.
I mean, do you call DJI after something like that?
God is saying, wake up! I know he's on the road. He didn't even
They go, oh my God, not him again.
Yeah. Well, you ought to see the review I put in on him. I told him I appreciate the complimentary drone. That's what I said. First off, I said, but I don't understand why you send me the Mavic 3 original when it's no longer in production, and you would not give me care refresh on it. I said, you should have updated it.
Yeah.
So I gave them all that. I'm waiting to see what their reply is on that, because they'll reply.
And see what
I'll
happens.
give you a complimentary year's care refresh or something, you know.
Well,
But other than that, but I take some chances. I've flown the Mavic 3 so many times. This one I've got to really pay attention to. I got to get used to, because I got to make sure it's got the same characteristics as the other one.
Oh, absolutely.
And I had 200 flights on the other one, so I knew how long it was going to stay in the air. I knew what it could do, what it couldn't do. And yesterday I'm doing a hyperlapse, and the first train came through. I know there's another train coming, and I've got about 30%, 35% battery. I got another battery waiting to go in, and I started doing a hyperlapse because the bridge was back up. Hey Nick,
good morning.
So the bridge is up, right? So I'm doing this hyperlapse, and as it's getting down to the last minute, I noticed the bridge is starting to lower. So I said, well, shoot, let me add another second. I'm watching my battery, and I'm about 25%, right? So I'm sitting there, and the bridge is taking its time lowering. So I get down and said, well, let me add another second. So I wound up adding 4 seconds to it. When it said hyperlapse is completing, as soon as it said that, now when you're in hyperlapse mode, you can go forward and backwards. You can't go up and down, can't do nothing else. Can't even move your camera, right? It says hyperlapse is completing. And it in the process, in the middle of all of that, it told me battery low, return to home, and I canceled it. So now I'm over 80 feet of water. And I got maybe 200 yards to the shore, and it says reaching a critical limit.
Wow.
Preparing to land. I said, oh, hell no. I can't change it yet because it's still doing a hyperlapse. So I'm just backing it up. So I'm flying backwards as fast as they'll let me go. And I'm just flying, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching it. And the thing's at 60%, 65%, the hyperlapse. I'm saying, you better hurry up. So I just kept coming backwards, right? So I knew I was getting close to land. So about the time I hit where land was, it said critical needs. It told me it needed to land, basically. And I said, no, I canceled it. I kept coming, right? So the hyperlapse ended. Man, I flipped that sucker over the video and turned it and came back towards me. Landed it at 11%.
Wow.
So at no point it never triggered auto return to home. It just wanted to land.
Oh, it did. Every time it did, I kick it. I stop it.
Okay. All right. I was wondering if it just like would not auto return home like during hyperlapse mode.
Well, I did that. It did it the one time during hyperlapse mode. I killed it because it would have killed the hyperlapse.
Right on.
So I killed it before it even started, but it never gave it to me on the way back. It was telling me,
okay,
I can't return home. I need to land.
But
so I didn't give it a chance. I just kept coming. You know?
But also, if you would have returned to home, wouldn't it go up higher? So that would drain your battery even more compared to coming backwards.
I tell you, when I first got the Mavic 3 a couple years ago, I was flying with Johnny. and we were at Mandeville Harbor, and we had gone out there a few weeks before that, and there was the water tower. And I think Johnny had the Air 3, and he was flying it towards the water tower. And he said, "How long do you think that? How far you think that is?" I said, "Maybe about 3,000 feet. It's not that far." So he's flying, and he says, "I'm past 3,000 feet. And I'm not even close." I said, "What do you mean?" He wasn't close. He got to about 4,800 and came back. So when I got the Mavic 3, because of the difference in the battery, I started flying towards the water tower. 7,100 feet, right?
Wow.
So I'm doing an orbit around the water tower, and Johnny says, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm doing an orbit around the water tower." And he goes, "You doing what?" I showed him, and he goes, "Really?" I said, 7,100 feet. So I'm doing a perfect orbit around, right? And I'm looking up there, and I'm at 40% battery. And this is one of the first few flights I had. And I'm sitting there, and it says battery level low. At that point, automatic return to home, right? At 40%. And I'm thinking, why is it telling me that? And I looked up and I realized I'm coming back against the wind.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh shit," like this. So I started bringing it back, and I'm bringing it back, and the battery's draining. I'm watching it go down. So I said, "Return to home." I said, "Let you figure it out." You know, when that thing, when I put it in return to home mode, I was at about 38%. When it got to me, it was still 35%.
Really? Wow.
It adjusts. It knows. It can feel the wind. It can feel the strain it's putting on there. And says, "Let me get to the best point to make it get back." It tries.
I've always said that drones of these days are a hell of a lot smarter than the drones of earlier years. And I mean, when I was up in Helen, I was doing what do you call it, the motion lapse, the time lapse, but it was where I can, where I was doing an orbit while I was doing a time lapse. And, years ago, I couldn't do that. I mean, I'd have to do it manually, and my pictures would turn out blurry sometimes and stuff like that because I didn't move at the same time that the camera needed to readjust. So, compared to these days.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm glad I didn't start out in those old days. I probably would have quit.
When I first started flying the little SEMAs, the little $60 drones, and I would lose a bunch of them. I've lost like 3 of them due to the wind, but it taught me how to fly and what works and what doesn't work compared to now where you're just like, am I really flying? No. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes it's flying.
Yep, you got a point. I bought one of them here. It was a something Beta Pro. It ran me about $80. And this was after I started flying, about 6 months after I started flying. And I bought it just for inside the house, just to fly it around in here. And boy, that sucker, it took off on me. And I was trying to control it. It was telling me, "Oh, hell no." And it bounced off my 65-inch TV, which really got me. Hit the Christmas tree on the corner, knocked 3 bulbs off, went flying down the hallway, chased the dog, and I'm trying to control it. It ain't listening to me. Comes back, hits me, goes into the kitchen, lands in the sink where all the water's at, just missed the water. I picked it up, packaged it up, sent it back. I'm done. No, this ain't happening. One time was it. And the Neo, that's why I bought the Neo to fly in here. The Neo, it's hit and miss. Some days it let me fly in here, some days it says, "Oh, hell no."
It depends on the lighting too, doesn't it?
I could have every light on in here. I could have the window, the big sliding door thing open while that light's in here. I can put that new light on the bottom, and it's hit and miss.
That's right.
I think it's because it's not a wide open space. I've got things in here that it sees too many things.
It's confused.
Oh, I think so. Oh, you ought to hear it. First thing it does, it tells me flying well lit light. First thing, no matter what, I could be the lights flashing on it. But then when it starts, as soon as it starts flying, it'll say "Addy mode," right off the bat, and that's when you better have control of it.
Jeez.
Interesting.
Nick, what are you working on?
I am working on roller skates. I gotta switch the plates on 3 different roller skates today. So
Well,
the my wife had like this. She sold a pair of her like frames, so she's selling her frames to another person, and then I'm mounting basically like other frames onto other skates. So that's my husband duties today.
there you go.
So it's good.
Well,
But yeah, I came into the game pretty late with drones because my first one was the 3D Robotics Iris Plus, and that had some GPS features, but I had a couple flyaways, but I always got it back. It always stopped.
well, I started 2016, 2017, around that area, and I wanted to get into it so bad. I got the Chroma 400 or 500, the 500. I had it, and then I ended up buying the Typhoon H, and I wish I still own that drone. I really do, because I mean that would have been a good one to carry around, not only their camera but another camera too. But that was a smooth flying drone until I crashed it into the tree, and I ended up replacing the arm on it, and I started flying it again, and it had the camera had a wobble to it, and I bet you it was because somewhere something else was fractured on the drone.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and sold it for like $700, and the guy hollered back at me and basically he says it works great. He said it flies great, the camera's great, and I said, well, I guess something happened in shipping. Because I told him it had every once in a while you'll have some, like, not jello, but just some quirkiness about because their cameras had that motor in it that sometimes it would go like this, it would just start quirking. But then I went to the Autel series. I had the Autel version 1. Enjoyed it, and went ahead and got a version 2, and I don't have either one of those drones anymore. I sold both of those, and I went to DJI and got the Mini 3 and crashed the Mini 3, and somebody stole the Mini 3 after the crash. DJI couldn't give me a flyaway on it because the point they said it crashed in the parking lot, you should have been able to get it. And I said, well, I explained somebody picked it up and stole it, and they still wouldn't give me one. But I ended up getting the Mini 4 Pro, and I've got the Autel 1, and I got the Avata 1 and the Avata 2. Avata 1's still over here in the case. I haven't flown it in a while. The Avata 2, I crashed it in the parking lot at down in Stewart, and all I did was bend up the duct and heated it back up and rebent it back out. And I flew it one time, and everything's fine with it. But just between work and everything, I haven't been able to fly much, other than the branches. I mean, I fly the branches, and I'm in facilities. So what I'm doing this year is flying all of our branches and getting an overhead shot of them, and also checking the roofs, just different shots of the branch itself. And the executive team is like, wow, these are nice. Because, you can see how many parking lot spaces we have, whether or not the parking lot needs to be worked on. just different stuff. And I even showed one of the guys. I went down to one of the air handlers on the rooftop, and I zoomed in to the tag, and it was just clear enough where you can actually see the tag. And they were like, "Wow!" So it's that's the only flights I've been doing here lately, other than Helen, Georgia. I flew.
Is that with a Maverick or something else?
The Mini 4 Pro.
Okay. Yeah. On the standpoint of like the Typhoon, I still own two. I bought one originally, and then Woot had them clearance for like $300 with the RealSense. So I still own two. I bought two because they came with the controller, and I still use it occasionally where if I want like dual controls for the camera, I can fly and like my wife or someone else can control the camera with the second controller. And I really love that because unless you step up to an Inspire like 2 or 3, you don't get camera controls like that with anything else.
No, and you know, some of the stuff like Autel and Typhoon and the Typhoon and stuff, they're ahead of the game on some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't get a Mini 4 Pro and get two controllers and control it.
And I think their drawback is, I think just like a lot of the video systems that are out now, I think CADX is Wi-Fi based, and I'm not positive, but I think they're Wi-Fi based, so their range is like maybe a kilometer or two before you start getting breakup and things like that. So that was one of the main drawbacks to the Typhoon I noticed was range, but it's also from what 2016, 2015.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Which is, you know, they were ahead of their time on. I wish some of these companies that did manufacture some of these great drones would come back again and do it all over again, because they probably win out if they would do the right thing. If they would do, you know, something that compares to DJI.
Yep. Yeah, DJI really kind of owned the market when it comes to their video transmission and their signal. Their proprietary system. And I was really bummed when Unique kind of got out of the market. Same thing with 3D Robotics, just because like 3D Robotics was like a pretty good company overall, and they went all commercial, I guess. So they got out of the consumer level just because of DJI.
Morning, Lance.
Morning, guys.
How are you this morning?
Pretty good. I'm gonna go fly a smokestack. That's why I'm in the car, and I couldn't join from my laptop because my laptop camera doesn't like to join on Zoom for some reason. So I'm on my phone. How are you guys?
Good. Just a little bit bored before getting busy.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd start a stream this morning. Johnny should be on the way to up to Smith Lake and everything. I seen him in the chat earlier. Johnny, safe travel, sir, if you're still out there. Mudball.
Is he flying up there or just visiting?
They're going on vacation. Him and about 12 other people. So yeah, they got a boat. From what I understand, they got the place they're staying at has a boat for them for the whole week. And he said, yeah, there is some cool spots up there in Smith Lake to fly. And with the amount of rain we've been getting here lately, there's a bunch of waterfalls that go into the lake. So hopefully they'll get to see some of the waterfalls. Jim, good morning. Hope you're doing well, sir. Mudball's out there. Good morning.
He told me it was only about a 6-hour drive, didn't he?
Yeah, 5-6 hour drive.
Shoot. If I knew there were waterfalls, I'd have drove up there, took some pictures, and came back.
Well, I say with the amount of rain we've been getting, hopefully he'll see some waterfalls. I did one of my videos from up there. When we used to go, we used to go every weekend. About every weekend, we had friends up there that had places. Jimbo, buddy of mine, brother of mine, he he had a place up there, and then Jason, another brother of mine, had his father-in-law's place up there, a condo, and it was over on the Jasper side of Smith Lake, and so we'd go up there about every other weekend and spend the weekend up there for just cruising around and stuff. And we were doing it so much that we ended up calling ourselves the Smith Lake Mafia. So I did a video, started out with Smith Lake Mafia with the puppet master, kind of like the mafia puppet master thing, and it was basically waterfalls and stuff. And the cool thing is at the very end that Jason was telling a story about his ex-wife's uncle or something like that was a sheriff, and he had a snake in the boat, so he just whipped out his pistol and started shooting at the snake. Shot about 3 or 4 holes in his boat.
Wow.
trying to kill this snake. But and Shelly was telling the story. My uncle really wasn't that bright. So, that was pretty good. Flying high in Florida, morning.
2 places not to fire a firearm would probably be on a boat down and then on a plane anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a good life lesson.
Yeah, I think that's a big life lesson right there.
Well, I don't know if anybody's from Georgia. My wife just went down that way, so she was over at Lake Lanier, which apparently is a big lake down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we passed by it coming back from Helen. And if anybody's never been to Helen, Georgia, it's a cool place for a weekend, maybe a little bit longer, but there's a lot of things to kind of see and do. I was, they had this huge antique consignment shop that was attached to a bowling alley, a bar, and you okay?
Yeah.
Nancy, okay?
Yeah, my phone just dropped. My phone.
He's got to do with this.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
But the antique store that we were in, there wasn't very many people in there, and just all that stuff from years gone by, and how now this generation doesn't value any of that, and it's sad to see all this stuff in cases and stuff like that, and nobody's buying any of it because it's just. And I get it. I wouldn't want to bring all that stuff home with me. I've got enough junk as it is. But it is, compared to, let's say, 20 years ago, where people would walk in one of those consignment shops and go, "Oh yeah, we want this, we want this." Now it's just hanging there, not doing anything.
Yeah. Do you think it's because there's not as many, like, I say millennials, but the millennials, Gen Y, Gen Z don't own as many large houses versus like apartments, and there's just not the physical space for that kind of stuff?
True. I mean,
one of my neighbors just had an estate sale. She moved, but she sold all her stuff, and like the amount of stuff she had was like insane in her house. So she's a big collector of clothes and things.
You need to see my apartment. I'm actually saying that I'm going to go through a box a day, and I've got closets with boxes that say stuff. I noticed there's a bunch of stuff, and just start chunking.
Yeah, they it was incredible to see this, though. I mean, I'm working on a video and been working on it. I mean, about 15, 30 minutes a night. And by the time I get back, I've done forgot what I was working on. But the place had like it was a bowling alley, a bar, antique store, and then back behind it was a car museum. And it's just everything all burned into one building. Because one minute you're bowling, the next minute you're walking into an antique store. So,
Yeah. Well, I got fond memories of going to like a not thrift store, but it was the Dixie Flea Market in Michigan, and like had a great time as a kid going around exploring stuff for that. You're right.
Oh, some of the stuff you find, you're like, wow, okay, this is a keeper.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and get this. But like, I was looking at all this old china and I mean, just crystal china. Most people don't know about iron skillets and the little cornbread maker skillets and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
they just no telling how long they've been hanging there, ready for somebody to pick up and buy it. It's just a lot of stuff, lot of stuff that albums. Oh my word, this place had tons of old albums, and I was just like, wow, this is a cool place.
Albums is something that's coming back though, because there's younger generations that are really kind of like collecting that. I'm sure it's a small niche group, but
I don't know. I don't know if it. Nowadays, everybody wants the latest and the greatest and the new. That's my stepson. My stepson. I go, look at this, and he goes, yeah. The next thing you know, he bought something, but he bought the better item of it. It's got to have nothing but the best. So I'm like, okay. I would have just bought the other one that functions the same way.
yeah.
All you're doing is buying a name sometimes. It's like Ryobi and DeWalt, You got these big contractors using DeWalt, and you got these homeowners using Ryobi, and they both function about the same.
And there's also too half of those are made in the same I know, like, is it Milwaukee and Walmart's brand are I think made in the same factory, and then is it DeWalt and Ryobi? I know Ryobi obviously has a different battery platform, but a few of them are very similar. I hear a photo montage going on there.
Yeah, Lance is doing time lapse.
Yeah,
nice.
Either that or he's holding the button down. Oh, nice.
Time lapse of the smokestack.
Holding the button down.
Doing a circular time lapse. How do you guys like my hair?
I really wish, because I have the Matrice the Matrice M30, and it doesn't give like an orbital pattern option in like the drone software by itself in DJI software. I really wish some of the same consumer level stuff was also enterprise and vice versa.
You think they'll ever update the firmware on it?
Which one, the Matrice?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they like to keep it separated, and there's options I think to pay for it through DJI, but I'm not at this point. I don't make a living off of it, so I'm trying to think which version they have, the DJI Terra. I think that's just the software, but they have options, but I'm not going to pay for it.
So, Joe, what do you got going on today?
I'm watching outside. The sun's starting to shine. We're at 70 degrees, which is a blessing. I don't know what the high is going to be today, but I'm probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock. I'll probably get out around the river and see what they got going on. I might go. I really like to see the sailboats get out in the lake, but they haven't been doing that lately.
You might be a good day.
They have a little course they run from the yacht club, and it's about a mile out. And it's easy to get. It's easy to fly to. It's right there by Mandeville Harbor. You fly right out there, and you can fly all around them. It's right at about a mile out. And when they're out there with all the sails up, it looks nice.
That's cool.
That'd be cool.
Now at the end of the month, I'm going over to New Orleans. I've got to find out if they're going to run a TFR. It's the powerboat races. And it's going to be on Lake Pontchartrain right there, New Orleans lakefront, for 4 days.
You think they'll do a TFR on it?
I have a feeling. I'll put it this way. I'm going to be limited anyway. Well, actually, if I do it from West End, it's G airspace. If I go a mile down the road, it's B airspace. A mile down the road is B airspace.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 airports. But I'll be right in the middle.
Just right in the curvature.
Yep, right in the middle.
Did I freeze up?
Yeah, you froze up.
Okay. That looks good.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least you weren't picking something.
Well, never mind. Well, deal. Okay. Let's see what.
Keep track.
Hell, okay, that didn't do anything.
Probably Lance's fault.
Let me cut my camera off and then back on. All right. Okay, that's weird. Video. Switch over to that and switch over to back over to this. Let's see. No, my camera went completely on me. It's black screen.
We can still hear you.
Yeah, audio's so good.
Huh. Okay. It says that I'm unable to cut your camera back on for some strange reason. Oh well, it's just going to be an audio show from here on out. Oh,
I spent probably 30 minutes figuring out my audio because it wasn't on the right source when I first started.
Well, my audio's coming from my camera, and my blue light's on the camera, but it's just not. It's not jiving. Oh well, it is what it is. So let's see. Let me try to enable it again. Yeah, it won't even let me in. It won't even let me enable the camera.
So random.
That's very random.
Like, I always joke, even like you watch some of like the best like live streamers that have a really good setup, and every now and then just stuff changes. Just like one day it's different, and you have no idea why.
Yeah. I watched James May this morning. If y'all know who I'm talking about,
oh yeah,
and he's in California right now, and he was looking for a great cup of tea. He says nobody's got any good cup of tea, and he went to go see this YouTuber. She's a travel YouTuber, and we've got Yorkshire tea at the office, and every once in a while I'll bring a couple of them home with me. I've never tried it before, and I tried it a while back, and man, it's really good tea. And he went up to her and said, "I hope you can give me some tea, a great cup of tea, because my hotel room doesn't have any good tea or anything." And she goes, "Yeah, I have Yorkshire tea." And I went, "Oh." I said, "So no wonder that tea's so good." But I do a little bit of hazelnut cream, and man, it's some really good tea. But I thought that was pretty cool to know that, the Brits are drinking Yorkshire.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, I am fixing to go take a shower, and my wife should be getting up pretty soon. We've got to go take some stuff out of storage and get that bedroom suite out of storage and load it up in the truck and head to Pell City, which is about an hour drive, and drop it off and stuff. My back really doesn't feel like it right now, but I'll try it anyway. I pressure washed the drive yesterday at mother-in-law's, and you're standing there and it's so just monotonous holding the handle. And I'm like, it was just, I mean, I was sore when I got home yesterday evening, and I still am. We're keeping 2 dogs also that basically they'll bark at anything at night. I mean, our 2 dogs, if they hear something in the middle of the night, they mainly don't bark at it, but these 2 dogs will. So we got 4 dogs here at the house, and mother-in-law, and it gets kind of crazy. And this is one of those quiet mornings that I just figured, well, I'll just since Johnny didn't have a show or anything, I got bored. So wanted to chit chat.
Sound like you could do a reality show.
Do I?
You could do a reality show.
Oh, believe me, if I had a camera rolling every 5 seconds, it would be a reality show for sure. I recorded a little bit yesterday at mother-in-law's. She's got a ceiling fan with a 6-foot pole on it. The top of the ceiling is 19 feet.
Wow.
And I got a 12-foot step ladder that reaches the bottom, where I can reach the bottom of the pipe itself. And I cut the old ceiling fan out of there. And it's the old style that has just 3 wires. You got your light hot, you got your regular hot, and then you got your neutral. And we're putting in a brand new ceiling fan. We wanted to put a 72-inch in, but there was no way because it came with a remote, and there's no way that wiring would work, that configuration would work. So we ended up putting the old pull style pull chains, and since it was so high up in the air and I didn't want to bring the chains all the way down, I mounted a motor control on the wall, and then a dimmer for the light on the wall. And that way I'll just turn it on high and turn the lights on and leave it at that, and then you can control it on the wall. But I didn't want to lift that motor up and climb up that ladder and hold that motor and try to do things while holding the motor. So I got a 1/2-inch pipe clamp for electrical conduit clamp, and I attached a pulley to it, and I put it up a little bit higher on the 1/2-inch pipe coming down, and basically attached a rope, or I used mule tape, and had Jason raise it up using it. And then I had, instead of just wiring the wires together and then hoping for the best with a piece of tape, I had bullet connectors. I put heat shrink bullet connectors on both ends. Mm-hmm. And then I thought I'd have enough to push it back up into the pipe, but I didn't. So I ended up disconnecting it, bringing the motor back down, and it came with a little sleeve that basically the sleeve would actually fit the 1/2-inch pipe perfectly. It'd slide into it. So I put my bullet connectors and everything inside the sleeve, and then just basically pinned the top section to the 1/2-inch and pinned the bottom section to the actual motor itself, and put on the blades and stuff, and it works great. So I recorded that. So
And the last, I put in the ceiling fans, a couple of them here when I moved in 16 years ago. And but at the house, the house we owned here, I was putting them in the boys' room, and I was up on a little small ladder. I'm standing there, and there was one wire I didn't identify up there. All the power was off and everything, but there was a pigtail wire going through that still carried voltage that I didn't know what it was. And I accidentally touched it. And when I accidentally touched it, it looked like something out of a cartoon. I went down the ladder like this. My hair, I knocked all the lights out. Everything was pigtail was knocked out. And I'm sitting there, and my wife walks in, looks at me, and says, "You all right?" I said, "I don't know. My teeth are hot, and all my hair was kind of frizzy."
Right.
But all my feelings were hot. I said, "God, darn it." As soon as it hit me, I went down the ladder. I'm glad it didn't hit me any worse than that. My brother-in-law was an electrician. Yeah. I made him look at it. He said, "Oh yeah, that's an old way to wire." He said yeah, everything on it. He said, "Wherever it goes, no matter what you turn off, that wire is hot."
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
I'm really happy that all of her switches and all of her bedrooms are dual switches because it makes things a lot easier. But if you're putting in one of those brand new remote ones, you want to just hit that hot wire, period.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the light switches. Unless you want to put one on the switch, you can. That way you can just cut it on and off. But that cuts the light on and off too. So.
Yep. That's what we just ran into. We just installed one of the ceiling fans, and it's annoying because sometimes we just want the fan on, but not the light, so you got to use the remote. Yeah. And we'll always routinely walk in, hit the switch, which turns it off. Remember that, turn it back on, but it takes like 15 seconds for the remote to then sync. So then you go use the remote, and you're just like pushing the button, waiting for it. And it's frustrating. I honestly thought about switching back to a regular fan.
I just wish they made that big old. We so much in this living room wanted to put a big old 72-inch in because it would, number one, it would take it, and number two, it would give you some really good airflow. Not that this 54-inch will give you, it gives good airflow too, but the 72 would just look so much better up there. But there was no way to do it. I mean, even the wires that came with it were not long enough for a 6-foot pole. And there was no way also to use it to actually, they didn't make a 6-foot pole for that style of fan, which was kind of stupid. So, but I hear her up and about, and I'm fixing to go take that shower and get ready to go and head on down the road. Lance, good to see you, sir.
Nice seeing you, Philip. Nice seeing you guys. We will catch you later.
You too, sir. And
later, Lance.
Safe travels.
Later, Nick. Later, Shat.
Yep. You guys have a good day.
Nick, you too, sir. And Joe, appreciate it, sir.
See you, Nick. See you, Joe.
Y'all come back and see us.
Later.
All right. Take it easy.
Later.